Hello everybody, how is everybody doing? Today in this video we're going to be launching Magellan III. This is the third version of the originally failed rocket Magellan I, and unfortunately I didn't show Magellan II on this channel. Well, it's safe to say that it was a failure. Not a successful failure, but just a failure. Because, well, it flipped over and crashed into the mountains after it was launched, so unfortunately we have to brand it a failure. So this is Magellan III. I've taken some info from Magellan I and II, and after that I've merged it together and added some awesome stuff over here to make Magellan III. It has cool new technology over here, like the new RCS thrusters that scientists at the Kerbal Space Program recently discovered, and some new tail fins. Also, it's also using some different types of liquid fuel engines, and also over here we have solid fuel engines. We have 220 electric charge, 1,040 kilograms of monopropellant, 4,950 kilograms of liquid fuel, 6,050 kilograms of oxidizer, and lastly, 12,540 kilograms of solid fuel. And I think this should be enough to get us to space. And if it doesn't, we'll see what info we can get from this. Here is the satellite. If we zoom in and then scroll up, this is the satellite. There is 4 Communitron 16s and the Probotobodine Stay Putnik, like always. And this time I added a Probotobodine HECS, which allows for SAS control. I also added 6 variable thruster blocks that came in the new 1.11 Kerbal Space Program update, and also there are 6 photovoltaic panels, aka solar panels, and other than that we also have a huge battery over here. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's this thing and an RCS tank. That's gonna be the only propulsion that this spacecraft has, and it's supposed to stay in space, so it won't need that much propulsion unless it's turning, or maybe it's just changing where it is, or if it's docking with a spacecraft or something like that. And here we have the second stage, which is a small stage. This has an RCS fuel tank, two separatrons, 4 RCS thruster blocks, a basic fin, a fuel tank, and a Terrier fuel engine. Lastly, we have the main stage, which is down here. We have multiple fuel tanks and a swivel liquid fuel engine, and we also have the BACC Thumper solid fuel booster with multiple RCSs on there. We also have the radial decoupler. Once these boosters are finished, we can just drop them as they are just dead weight after they are finished using, because we can't refill solid fuel tanks unless we recover them, and we can't stop solid fuel tanks once they start, so that's the thing with them. Lastly, as you might have noticed, I have added these 2 separatrons, so it will get separated once the decoupler gets activated. It's in the same stage. I mean, it's this stage, I think. Yeah, this stage. So yeah, we're about finished with the stuff of the Magellan III. Now we need to launch it. Hopefully all goes well. Now it's going to take a little time to load, and while it's loading, I'm going to tell you about some mods that I just installed. First, civilian population. That's basically, it adds realism to the game, and in the future, once we're technically in the future, in terms of technology, we can use those modules for to draw civilians to the moon and Minmus and low Kerbal orbit, or possibly even establish a station in low Kerbal orbit based that's just for civilians. Alright, I think it's about to be finished loading. Okay, so here we are. We're on the launch pad, and let's warp to sunrise so we get a better scene. Okay, so here we are. It's sunrise right now, and let me change the settings to the default settings, and then after that, close this window. We're going to enable RCS and SAS. We only need the stability assist and possibly the prograde and retrograde, and that's gonna be the all we need for now, because this is gonna be a fairly basic flight. So let's begin. We're gonna throttle up to 2/3 over here, and 3, 2, 1, lock. Alright, here we go! I think the fins are helping. There we go. We're flying pretty quickly, almost at 100 meters per second. Oh wait, here we go. Overall, this mission is going along pretty well, and this is a pretty nice scene. This is the Kerbal Space Center, and we've just left the launch pad. We're going through a gravity turn. Hopefully I'm doing it correctly. The solid fuel boosters are about to run out, so we're going to decouple them pretty soon. And here they go. By the way, there's one major difference with this mission and the last one. I have an abort system ready, so just in case anything goes wrong, I can hit the backspace key and the abort system will come into play. Currently doing my gravity turn. We're going higher and higher in the atmosphere, and all is well right now. Let me check the map. The orbit is increasing. Let's use the prograde marker for now to increase the orbit as large as possible. We're at 600 meters a second. Let me check. We are higher and higher in the atmosphere, and soon the fairings are going to be deployed, so I've set the fairing deploy method to be clamshell, and there's only two sides, so it's going to deploy like a clamshell opening. Let's check the orbit. It's getting bigger and bigger. Which is good. because we want it to be bigger and bigger, and eventually orbit the actual Kerbin. So, unlike the last few spacecrafts, we've never gotten this far before. So, this is the highest in altitude that I've ever gotten with the Magellan series of spacecraft. I'm changing to stability assist and continuing with my gravity turn. It looks like our speed is increasing. We're at 1,400 meters per second. Now let's deploy the lower stage. Here it goes. And now we're going to set the throttle to maximum so we can get an orbit as large as possible. We're gonna set the SAS to prograde marker now. We've got 2,500 meters a second of speed, I should say, with this engine. So I am going to try to get the orbit as large as possible with that 2,000 meters a second. Our periapsis is still negative 240 kilometers, so we need to get that as high as possible, along with the apoapsis. And then, if we still have enough fuel left, possibly do a circularization burn. Hopefully I said that correctly. Alright, it seems that the orbit is increasing. And the periapsis has started to show. It is now at 72 kilometers and increasing. We still have 1,500 meters a second left. So, since we're finished with increasing the periapsis, let's warp to the apoapsis and then burn so that the periapsis also increases to, like, maybe here. Let's use the time warp. It's warping over there. Actually, I've decided I'm just gonna warp over here. Alright, so we are at the apoapsis, and we are going to burn prograde to increase the periapsis. This is basically a circularization burn, and I'm going to make the throttle lower, like around 1/3, so I have more control over it. Alright, even though our orbit is not perfectly circular, this was a type of orbit that I was looking for. So, since we have our spacecraft in space, we're going to deploy the fairing and send away the stage that has the propulsion system. And there it goes. So this is our satellite, and this is the first one that's ever been successful in the series of the three what's it called again? The 3 Magellan satellites. So let's do the first thing. We need to open up the solar panels. And it looks like it's opened. It's now facing towards the sun. And after that, we need to open up the communitrons. And now it's opened. Mission has been successful. Look at this. We're gonna switch to stability assist with the SAS, and we're going to test the RCS thrusters. So let's close up the solar panels. Wait, unfortunately we can't close them. Oh well. Let's open up the antennae, I should say, and test out the RCS thrusters. So this works. Okay. And the SAS appears to be working right now. So we can conclude that it is working. Let's face prograde and keep the SAS at prograde now. And look at it. It looks nice, doesn't it? Now let's time warp. See what views we can get. I'm gonna click F2. Once we go back to the bright side of Kerbal, or at least the sun, or at least the sunrise, then let's pause the time warp. Okay. This looks nice. And the first satellite of Kerbal Space Center, or Kerbal Space Program, I should say, has successfully been launched and put in orbit. And we've got a view of the Mun back there, and that's the sun, and that's the Earth. Or I should say Kerbal, because, yeah. So, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to watch more Kerbal Space Program videos, you can check in the KSP playlist in my channel. The only other video for now, at the time of the release of this video, is the Magellan I video. But if you hit the bell icon and set notifications to all, you might get notifications for new Kerbal Space Program videos when I release them. Thanks for watching. Bye.